Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. Most news developments and press releases from Ripple frankly have nothing to do with XRP or the XRP ledger, which is fine. Although XRP is at the core of their business model, I don't expect that every new exciting development for them is going to necessarily have some direct relation with what's happening with XRP or the XRP ledger. But oh, this one does, and my God, it's a big one. Look at this headline from the Crypto Basic. Ripple CTO says defining moment for XRP as Ripple completes its largest deal ever. And folks, this is a mammoth deal. That's interesting enough in and of itself, and more on that in a second. But that's not the lead. The lead here, the headline has to do with, in my mind, has to do with the degree to which this is going to ensure the long-term viability of XRP. This deal, and we'll get into the specifics of it, directly impacts XRP and the XRP ledger, the utility of XRP, also RLUSD, and by further cementing the long-term viability of RLUSD, Ripple stablecoin, that in and of itself further ensures that XRP is going to be here for the long haul because XRP is required for RLUSD to operate on the XRP ledger. Also, this is going to help when it comes to real world assets being tokenized on the XRP ledger, specifically because of this company they just bought and how it relates. You'll see, just hang with me here. On top of that, as if that's not enough, this is also going to tap into Ripple Payments, which utilizes, of course, XRP as a bridge currency. It's everything. I haven't seen something like this, maybe ever. In fact, so I shared this post in the afternoon. I wrote, this is one of the most incredible fundamental developments for XRP and the XRP ledger that I've ever seen. The deal substantially increases the utility of XRP itself. Stunning. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, so here's a post from Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse breaking the news here. This is a mammoth acquisition, and again, directly utilizing XRP and the XRP ledger. And here's what he wrote. Today, Ripple announced the acquisition of Hidden Road for $1.25 billion, one of the largest deals ever in the crypto space. But the price tag isn't what's most important. It's that this deal marks a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for crypto to access the largest and most trusted traditional markets and vice versa. And folks, I'll pause to note here, this is another instance where you'll see that Ripple, they're the adults in the room in the world of crypto. They always have been. And I would say that with the maturation of the asset class being more and more obvious year after year, there are more adults in the space, but it looked less so back when I jumped into crypto in 2017. But even back then, Ripple was always viewed as the adult in the room. There are so many people that would say that. I'd say that because it just makes sense. And my God, that is still true today. I mean, we're talking about tapping into traditional finance. This is the blending of crypto and traditional finance. And so then he says, prime brokers, along with other key functions historically managed by banks for the most part, like Hidden Road, have proven themselves as the trusted intermediary for the largest hedge funds, market makers, over-the-counter desks, quant traders, and more. Ripple has been a customer of Hidden Road for years, and we know their breadth of expertise firsthand, clearing $3 trillion annually for 300 plus of the top financial institutions globally. And folks, isn't that kind of fascinating? Like, they're a customer of a company, and then they're just like, okay, we like you, we're going to buy you now. And they did for $1.25 billion. That is so freaking massive. And Ripple has been on a bit of a buying spree. You know, they bought Medico, so I mean, they've really been diversified. So obviously, XRP is a bridge currency. That just works. That's a no-brainer. But they've been branching out. And so that we're at the point where Ripple, if you ask Brad Garlinghouse what Ripple does, he's probably typically not going to start by explaining that Ripple has to do is a company that has to do with foreign exchange transactions. They're providing enterprise solutions for firms. Traditionally, they would actually before this, he probably would have said just in the world of crypto. This is taking a step into traditional finance, and now it's even bigger than that, though. So I don't know exactly what his pitch looks like now, or if he has to, the elevator pitch, as they say, the quick 30-second explanation of what your company does. I don't know. I'm curious to hear the next time he speaks publicly how he's going to describe Ripple. That would be fascinating to me, because an XRP is still at the core of this, and obviously it always will be, because Ripple is the largest holder of XRP on the planet, so they will always have XRP in mind with every move that they make strategically. But this is really something. Anyway, then Brad Garlinghouse says, this is the capital and activity that will tap into XRP and the XRP ledger's bread and butter: instant, efficient, scalable, and low-cost movement of value. Instead of waiting up to 24 hours to settle trades through fiat rails, Hidden Road will be using XRP Ledger for clearing a portion of trades, and most consequentially, using RLUSD as collateral across its prime brokerage services, including cross-assets, crypto, and traditional instrument trades. And so, my friends, that's what I was saying at the outset of the video. RLUSD is going to be a major piece of this, and it's fascinating because this is a cryptocurrency, RLUSD, that didn't exist 4 months ago. And I don't know what it is in market cap today, but the other day when I was looking, it was like 211 in market cap out of tens of thousands of coins, and it didn't exist 4 months ago. I'd say it's going well. It's getting adopted. And this is important for us as XRP holders, because XRP is required for RLUSD to function. For every single transaction, XRP is required as a gas token, as long as it's on the XRP ledger, which is obviously where it would make sense to use RLUSD. Because, and I know, like RLUSD, it's on Ethereum, but that's a tiny percentage. I don't know if it's like 5% of all RLUSD in existence. And also it's faster and less expensive on the XRP ledger, so duh, it just makes sense there. So this is obviously fantastic. And so they're blending all of this together, and as cited here, if I could just reiterate, $3 trillion annually for 300 plus of the top financial institutions globally. That's fascinating. And so then he says, with this deal and the backing of Ripple's significant balance sheet, Hidden Road will exponentially expand its capacity to service its pipeline and become the largest non-bank prime broker globally. Folks, that's right. The largest non-bank prime broker globally will be using XRP and the XRP ledger. Might this be good in helping to ensure the long-term viability of XRP? Methinks yes. That's a damn straight right there. Then he says, Ripple and Hidden Road combined are a generational leap forward, ready to truly bring the worlds of traditional and decentralized finance together. Now, I would love to see an example flow and exactly what this looks like. I want to know a little bit more about how the sausage is made, and I haven't seen that yet. I checked a bunch of accounts, including Ripple employees, for potential comments and just an example of what the flow looks like. I haven't seen that yet, but it's very clear that this is all going to be integrated with XRP and the XRP ledger. That's the key takeaway for us, and that's all we have to know for now to be excited. But I'll be looking for more tidbits about functionally, how the processes work behind the scenes. I'm just curious. Like, I just want to know more so about what that looks like. But haven't really seen anything. Even in Ripple's official press release here, they didn't really get into how the sausage is made. But that's normal. Like, you don't really expect to see that in a press release. You have to hear more about people speaking publicly because they're a private company, and you can't just know everything behind the scenes, how that works. So this is actually normal. But I want to know. And so as soon as I find out more, of course, I'll be covering it on my channel. But look at this piece. This is from Ripple's press release on this. They wrote, Ripple also sees the potential to optimize costs and liquidity in its cross-border payment solution, Ripple Payments, and provide critical custody services to Hidden Road's customers who need bank-grade digital asset custody. Ripple Payments, again, folks, that uses XRP as a bridge currency, in case you hadn't heard. So it touches everything that matters with XRP. That's why when I was reading through this earlier today, I was like, oh my freaking God, this is a way bigger deal than I expected. Normally when I see these announcements from Brad or anybody else, I'm like, oh, okay, let's check it out. And then it's like, oh, okay, good for Ripple. And it's not some sort of big deal. It doesn't even necessarily have anything to do with XRP. And this has everything to do with XRP. So I had a different response to this one in particular. Here's a post from David Schwartz. He's the XRP co-creator and the co-creator of XRP and the XRP Ledger, CTO over at Ripple. And he said, Ripple's acquisition of Hidden Road is a defining moment for the XRP Ledger and XRP. The prime broker clears upwards of $10 billion and processes over 50 million transactions a day on various traditional rails, waiting up to 24 hours for those transactions to settle. Now imagine even a portion of that activity on the XRP ledger, and that's exactly what Hidden Road plans on doing. Not to mention future use of collateral and real-world assets tokenized on the XRP ledger. So folks, every single aspect of what the XRP ledger is great at, having to do with payments and tokenizing stuff, this is going to be tapping into that, but on a massive scale, an absolutely massive global scale. That's why this is exciting. So, look, the reason this matters big picture, because I understand, what this will do is drive confidence in the market that XRP truly is here to stay. So as more businesses and as more individuals jump into crypto, because there's only a small percentage of humans in crypto today, but as more and more people and businesses jump in, more will think, if you want to have just like you do at the stock market, you want to have diverse exposure. So they're going to want to have diverse exposure, including with XRP, because it's just one of the obvious early winners in crypto. XRP just obviously is, and it's just getting cemented more and more. And so all of this is what's going to increase demand over time for XRP. And it's just one more thing. Obviously, it's not only Ripple that's contributing to the XRP ecosystem, but my God, this is a notable one. This is maybe the biggest one from Ripple, arguably, because it taps into every aspect of what matters pertaining to the XRP ledger. That's the reason I say that. And that's why I'm so curious to know exactly what these flows look like and where the XRP ledger is going to be used, where XRP specifically is going to be. And I understand some aspects of where XRP is going to be used, especially with RLUSD and other things like that. But I want to know some more of the specifics. It's just not publicly available yet. Here's what Monica Long had to say. She's the president of Ripple. She wrote, "The fundamental tenets of what both Ripple and Hidden Road are trying to do are the same. Build better financial infrastructure for global movement of value than the walled gardens, fragmented rails, and monolithic entities of the past. Decentralized finance thus far has been primarily built for crypto natives. Today, we have a chance to break down those barriers. Through Hidden Road, for the first time, an institutional investor is able to post multiple forms of collateral, including crypto and tokenized assets, and soon RLUSD, to one counterparty and trade across 100 plus venues and liquidity providers that support 1,000 plus assets across foreign exchange, crypto, fixed income, etc. This is no small feat to achieve today, especially with risk management. That, in combination with using the XRP ledger for post-trade settlement in the future, means the possibilities are staggering. There will be much more to say in the weeks ahead about what was once a hypothetical and is now reality. But today, let me express my thanks to the teams who worked to bring this deal together and excitement for what's all to come. Let's build." Okay, so we're going to be learning more in the weeks and months ahead, but this is still exciting because, again, they're all highlighting the degree to which this is just fantastic for XRP itself. And we, as XRP holders, that's the part that matters to us. That's why most of the press releases from Ripple that I ever see, I'm like, okay, well, doesn't have anything to do with XRP. Good for Ripple, though. Okay, cool. This is for us. Like, this helps the XRP ecosystem. That does matter to us. Cool as hell. Just freaking cool as hell stuff. So we'll see exactly what this looks like as time unfolds, but I'd say it's a big freaking deal. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.